Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, of course, depending on where you're hearing my voice from. This is, the Biafra Golden Child, and really, really happy to interact with us today. Yeah, I'm happy to know that you all are doing well. If you can hear me, if you can listen to this audio, it means that you're healthy, you're strong, and you are doing great, for which I thank Almighty God. Yes. So this morning I want to, bring a very important information uh, to Ndigbo, to the Biafran people, to fellow freedom lovers, yes, to people of Biafra extraction. I want to wish you well. I want to, um, tell you that something negative is happening, to Ndigbo, yes, to Biafrans. Yes, there's a personality, a person who, for his own selfish interest, has taken it upon himself to vilify, to continue to, you know, um, derogate and use a derogatory language against Indibo. This is a man for whom, because of his selfish interest, Ndibo should not exist. Yes, as we say in local parlance, he doesn't want us to drink and drop our cup. Yes, he doesn't want Ndigbo to drink and drop their cup peacefully. This person has been going around casting aspersions against Ndigbo, abusing them, criticizing every prominent personality from Igbo land, running his mouth, you know, doing profligate writings that are particularly targeted negatively, of course, to Ndigbo and to Biafrans. So, ladies and gentlemen, this morning's audio is strictly about Reno Omokri. Reno Omokri, a former aide to ex-President Goodluck Jonathan, if you can remember. Yes, he was the media aide to ex-President Goodluck Jonathan, and that was where he got his, you know, uh, well, of course, that was why that was the highest time he became prominent in issues and in the country called Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, it has come to the notice of Ndigbo, particularly a section of Ndigbo who are known as the Igboezue International Association, Nigeria and the Diaspora. The Igboezue International Association, Nigeria and the Diaspora, and in bracket IIAND, the Igboezue International Association Nigeria and the Diaspora. Yes, this group has, you know, echoed my mind. They have come out to vigorously and very, very seriously warn Reno Omokri to desist from this, you know, uh, continuous and constant, or you say constant and continuous attack on Ndigbo and Biafrans. Reno Omokri has made it, you know, a point of duty at any point in time, to bring up Ndigbo, to bring up Biafrans who are striving, who are trying to make ends meet, who are captains of industry, who are doing, their dollar's job for a dollar's job for a dollar's pay. He has taken it upon himself to be their albatross. He wants to be the one who tells the whole world if they are sleeping, if they are awake, if they are bathing naked, if they are wearing the wrong clothes, if they are sneezing at the wrong party, if they are whatever. He has taken it upon himself to become, you know, the mouthpiece of all those who have a pathological hatred for Ndigbo. So, ladies and gentlemen, brace up this morning. We're going to talk about this fictitious character who has taken it upon himself to make the life and times of Biafrans of Ndigbo unbearable because, of course, of a mega, a paltry, a paltry. The paltry is he gets, the crumbles he picks on the table of the Jagaban and his, you know, uh, a group of Igbo maligners and haters. Ladies and gentlemen, this audio this morning touches me because as a Biafran, as a man who breaks Biafra, who talks Biafra, a man who sleeps Biafra, a man who wakes up every day, and the first thing I want to know is what is happening to my fellow Biafrans. Are they doing good? Are they moving in their strides? Are their businesses being impeded? Are their developmental patterns suffering any special triple taxations and all that? A man who's concerned about the welfare of every Biafran, every singular Biafran, would, of course, be highly, highly interested in knowing that no one is allowed to victimize Biafrans, to disparage Biafrans, or in any way subject Biafrans to ridicule or to odium and opprobrium. That is what Reno Omokri has taken it upon himself to be doing back to back in recent times since he left, of course, the former President Goodluck Jonathan's employment. So, ladies and gentlemen, this morning the audio is pretty serious. Listen to it. Tell your friends about it. Tell your associates about it. That there's a new hater. There's a new hater who appears, to be interested. All he does to get to be relevant, to make it deliberate, is to cast aspersions on Ndigbo, is to, begin to highlight, fake, oftentimes false, fake narratives about Ndigbo and about Biafrans, trying to diminish their efforts, trying to ridicule their achievements, trying every way he can, to ensure that great feats are undermined by spurious and negative aspersions. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to go straight to this audio now. Before we talk about, let us hear what the Igboezue International Association Nigeria and the Diaspora, Nigeria and the Diaspora, in brackets, IIAND, has said, has commented, has warned about this negative, spurious, and almost psychotic activities of Reno Omokri. Yes, give me your ears, ladies and gentlemen. Give me your ears, fellow freedom lovers. Give me your ears, Ndigbo. The Igboezue International Association of Nigeria and the Diaspora, IIAND in bracket, has issued a stern warning to Mr. Reno Omokri, a former aide to ex-President Goodluck Jonathan, urging him to cease further insults on Ndigbo or face the consequences. The group also called on Omokri's community, whether in Bayelsa or Rivers State, to call him to order, stating that his political disagreements with any Igbo person or group should not be a basis for insulting the entire ethnic group. Igboezue described Omokri as an unsolicited, quote and unquote, unsolicited attack dog for President Bola Tinubu, noting that Omokri, who previously criticized Tinubu, has suddenly become an unsolicited ally, quote and unquote, of the president. They stressed that his continuous derogatory remarks against Ndigbo would no longer be tolerated. When Omokri had, in a recent post, been attacking Mr. P2B and the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, over the declaration of May 30th, 2025 as Biafra Heroes Day, referring to the defunct Biafrans as rebels. Reacting to this, Igboezue, through its national president worldwide, Chief Pius Uchenna Okafor, demanded that Reno Omokri desist from further insults against Ndigbo, warning that any unguarded and unprovoked statements against the defunct Biafra Republic would no longer be tolerated. According to Igboezue, quote, "We, the Igboezue International Association, Nigeria, and the diaspora, have for some time watched Mr. Reno Omokri and his likes insult the entire Igbo race with their reckless statements against the defunct Biafran people, whom Ndigbo represent. Our attention was recently uh, drawn to Mr. Mokri's attack on Ndigbo by calling the defunct Biafran people rebels while attacking Mr. P2B and IPOP. The group clarified that it is not against Omokri criticizing any politician or group he disagrees with, but emphasized that unwarranted, quote and unquote, unwarranted and unprovoked attacks on Ndigbo would not be accepted. They urge him to keep his grievances directed at individuals or groups, not the entire ethnic community. Igboezue further noted, quote, "While we understand that his unguarded statements are politically motivated, probably to secure an appointment or relevance, we want to remind him that respected figures like Chief Edwin Clark and Chief Aya Debanjo, who contributed significantly to Nigeria, never attacked any ethnic group to earn their respect." The association also reminded Omokri that there are young Igbo people living in the same communities as him, cautioning him against making careless remarks against Ndigbo. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Biafran lovers, Reno Omokri has taken it upon himself to be a watchdog against Ndigbo. And of course, this Igboezue International Association, Nigeria, and diaspora have told him, they have warned him that enough is enough. Enough is enough. That, quote, the Igboezue International Association, Nigeria, and the diaspora have for some time watched Mr. Reno Omokri and his likes insult the entire Igbo race with their reckless statements against the defunct Biafran people, whom Ndigbo represents. And of course, they mirrored, Mr. Mokri's attack on Ndigbo by calling the defunct Biafran people rebels while attacking Mr. P2B and IPOP. Ladies and gentlemen, Chinua Achebe said, our prolific writer and elder statesman, late now, one-time Biafran ambassador, of course his late, may so rest in peace. Professor Chinua Achebe once said that a man who didn't know where the rain started dropping on him would not know where it dried on him. Equally, we are told that a man who does not know his destination will always arrive any new place, seeing it as his destination. Reno Omokri has consistently, especially since the administration of the Jagaban, he has suddenly become, a tool, a willing tool for the Jagaban to, manipulate and to, orchestrate nefarious activities against Ndigbo. He has allowed himself to be used because, of course, he wants to gain prominence, he wants to gain relevance, and he wants to be AGIP, AGIP, any government in power. The same man who vigorously criticized the Jagaban during the days before the February 2023 elections, has become his unsolicited mouthpiece At every point in time, he has tried to impress the Jacobin by casting aspersions, criticizing, and making derogatory statements against the Southeast, against Ndigbo, against the Biafrans. And we wonder what he intends to achieve. But of course, we know, of course, everybody, probably that's where his bread is buttered from. Probably that's where he makes his living from. But this Igbo association, Igboezue, Igboezue Ndigbo, International, Nigeria and Diaspora, have called him to order. And not just that, they have told him and sent messages to his communities, either in Biafra or River State. I've told him, look, Reno Omokri, even though you are staying any part of this world, remember Ndigbo youth. Remember our Igbo people are ubiquitous. There's no part of the world you don't have the Igbos. Igbo youth see you every day. We know to the extent even where you're sleeping. We know where you have your exercises. We know where you go to swim. We know where you do your joggings. So be very careful when you continue to, when you continue to cast aspersions, when you continue to insult the war, Biafrans, be ready for it. Our youths will get you anywhere. We don't care. We don't care how much you get from the Jagaban. We don't care how much you get from pathological haters of Ndigbo. We don't care what you think or what you think or believe you will achieve. But you don't dare rubbish a champion. Take it or leave it. Reno Omokri, the Igbos are champions. Yes, no matter what anybody does to them. Yes, because of their Jewish background. Yes, because we belong to Yahweh. Yes, like the mustard seed, no matter what is done to us, the moment we begin to thrive, the moment we begin to grow, we spread our tentacles. We grow into a gigantic structure beyond the destruction of any other person, beyond the discussion of your likes. Psychopaths like you who believe that the only way they can survive is by running their mouth and, doing a hatchet job, for the cabal. It's a shame with all your intelligence. It's a shame with all your experience, even as a, media aide to former, President Goodluck Jonathan. It's a shame that years after, all you have morphed into, metamorphosed into, is to be a rabid hater of Ndigbo. Reno Omokri, beware. Ndigbo have come a long way. People like you who didn't know where we started will not know where we are going. But we'll tell you the truth. Biafra for us is a religion. Biafra is a way of life. You only read that the Biafran war was fought between 67, 68, 69, 70. You only read that at one point in time, yes, under, General F. Young, and Biafra capitulated. You only read, of course, that go on, the then head of state said, no victor, no vanquished. Yes, Biafrans come back to Nigeria. Of course, you must have read the 3 R's, the reconstruction, the rehabilitation, and the reintegration of the Biafrans to Nigeria. Of course, you equally read that the Biafrans were given a paltry £20 after the war, no matter how much they had in their bank accounts. Of course, you know too, and you must have read too, that the Biafrans lost most of their properties which they had in other regions of Nigeria before the war. And of course, those properties were eventually, taken away from them with what they called indigenization policy. The abandoned projects, legislations of different states, especially in Port Harcourt, especially in River State, especially in Biafra State, especially in the parts of the Southwest, especially even in the North. Yes, probably you thought that was the end for the Ndigbo. You thought that was the end for the Biafrans. Your like thought that the Igbos were finished. Your like thought that, yes, it was all over for Biafra. They would become like Somalian refugees. They would become beggars. They would become a social pariah. They would go to the north and serve them. They would go to the southwest and serve them. Possibly come to Biafra and serve people like houseboys, like house girls, like gardeners, like drivers. like chefs, like slaves. But like some of the people who are haters, pathological haters of the Igbos, I'm sure you are shocked. You're shocked at what the Biafran man has become with a paltry 20 pounds. It shook you and your generation, your wicked generation, your brood of haters and vipers. It shook you that the Biafran man survived even with 20 pounds. And they shocked you that with 20 pounds today, a Igbo man, the Igbo in particular, the Biafrans have become captains of industries. They are now running in maritime business, the business of imports and exports. Possibly to your chagrin, it pains your heart vigorously when you see the Igbo man, doing great. When you see him building multidimensional estates everywhere, when you see him even in estates, in business, in imports, in aviations, you see him doing well. And you ask yourself, is this not the people that were almost wiped out? The same people who were almost wiped out between 66, 67, 68, 69, 70 in an unavoidable civil war. We're no Omokri, enough is enough. Yes, if you don't know, Biafra is in our blood. If you don't know, Biafra is in our DNA. In case you don't know, Mr. Reno Omokri, every Igbo man anywhere, every member of the Ndigbo family, every Biafran has what it takes within him to self-develop, self-reintegrate, self-motivate, and self-overcome. We have it in our DNA, like the Jew people, like the Jews, who, despite every effort to exterminate them, beginning from Germany, from Austria, yet, today they are still captains of medicine, captains of industry in medicine, in science, in business, in mercantile, in banking. That is ditto for Ndigbo. These people, you seem to, pride. You take pride in disgracing, in insulting, in calling names that are verbose and lacking, full of pomposity, but lacking in veracity and truth. Jealousy, pathological jealousy against the Igbos. Reno Omokri is a waste of time. All those who are pathologically jealous of the strives made by the Igbo man, made by the Biafran man, are in for greater surprises. They are in for greater surprises because guess what? Guess what, Reno Omokri? Biafra has come to stay. Biafra has come to stay. If you're looking at a people who fought the last civil war, who fought with their limited resources, who fought with their level of unpreparedness for the war, who fought a war that could have been avoided. A single region comprising then Anambra, Enugu, and Imo State, comprising then what was known as the Southeast region, as the Eastern region. If that group could withstand a whole country like Nigeria, with all its, arsenals at its disposal, with all its bombardments, with all the advantages it had, because of course it got other countries to shun any help, any aid to Biafra land, either through the air, either through the sea, or either through the land. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, Grandma Omokri, you know that Biafra held the Nigerian government to a standstill, back to back, between 67, 68, 69, 70. If not because of the sick and elderly, if not because, of course, we have suffered a lot of casualties that ran into millions, if not because of the, blockade from the air, the blockade from the sea, and the land blocks, if not that, of course, our Field Marshal of Biafra, the Venerable Let Tim Odumegwu said, look, let the casualties stop. Let me leave this mad people. Let me leave try go on. Let me leave the wise. Otherwise, I could have assured you, Reno Omokri, Nigeria could never have defeated Biafra. Biafra met Nigeria one-on-one. Yes, our scientists went deep down, became very creative. Out of creativity, they were able to match all the modern equipments the Nigerian army could deploy. They matched the bombing facilities, they matched the shootings, they even got planes, yes, that could move our people and our leaders, back and forth. So anybody who's looking down on the Biafran man is not telling himself the truth. Reno Omokri, I see you as a brilliant man, but unfortunately, your brilliance is being misused, is misdirected. You don't curse a people whom the Lord has blessed. No man can curse. You probably have heard that slogan. You probably have heard that message. You probably have read that even in the Holy Scriptures. Yes. Don't touch my anointed and do my prophet no harm. Take it or leave it. The time will come very soon when people will realize who the true Biafrans are, who the true leaders of Black Africa, of Nigeria are. Yes, the Biafrans, Ndigbo have paid their dues. They've suffered enough in the hands of the zoo called Nigeria. They have been subjugated enough. They have been ridiculed. They have been hated. They have been cheated. And a lot of, a lot of wickedness have been endured by Ndigbo. And we're forging ahead that we already declared the United States of Biafra. And when we look at Pioneers like you, people who amount to nothing, ordinarily we shouldn't have wasted our time responding to you. But because we needed to warn you, bring you back to speed, in case you have been inebriated by what you think you're getting from the Jagaban. Possibly. You think we're not seeing, you think we're not watching, you think we don't know. But Reno Omokri, enough is enough. Stop casting aspersions on Ndigbo. Stop degrading their achievements. Stop criticizing them. And stop, for crying out loud, referring to Biafra and people of Biafra as rebels. If you know what rebels mean, you would know that Biafrans are not rebels. We are not guerrilla fighters. Biafrans are people who have suffered too much indignation, too much subjugation. People who have been, disallowed, not been allowed to achieve, to escalate their potentials. People who, are called citizens of a country where they cannot aspire to the highest level of authority, where they cannot grow, where they cannot live and let live. Biafrans are a people who have said, no, we cannot be treated like a defeated people after a civil war that was described as no victor, no vanquished. Reno Omokri, if you know what Ndigbo have done for Bayelsa people, if you know what Ndigbo have cushioned for the rivers people, you would not cast aspersion against an Igbo man again. Reno Omokri, you have been warned. Let it cease now before it is too late. The Biafrans are too much, too great a champion to be ridiculed. Enough is enough. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's about the audio. Let's leave this and go into other things. I'll be giving you an audio soon about our Prime Minister in Finland, Simon Ekpa, and what the Finnish authorities are doing currently. Give me a few minutes. I'll be right back. God bless you. God bless the United States of Biafra. And of course, we're looking forward to everything good for Biafra. God bless you all.
Yeah, check me out. Superstars Media. Lord Logan, Bloomington, Lord Logan, and it's Wild Flora Show. 1914 amalgamation is what we dying for. 3 nations to 1 nation, ever since annihilation. Nepotism is nonsense. You and you, clap your hands. Biafra gonna come, clap your hands. Biafra, Odudua, we're free now. Freedom is gonna come, we're free now. Yeah.